And Liz, as far as the vocals go, do you have a concept behind Brat?
I do not. I open my mouth and whatever comes out, comes out.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as your lyrics, where do you find inspiration? What do you sing about?
So Brenner actually writes almost all the lyrics. I've written lyrics for like two songs, but so I'll let you feel that one.
Yeah, I pull a lot of my inspiration for the lyrics from dark literature. I'm really into creative writing, and I sort of just pull it all from there. I'm a huge Stephen King fan. Any sort of like psychological or cerebral horror. That's sort of my jam, and I've been writing since I was a kid. So that's that's where it comes from.
Creative writing meaning fiction?
Yes,
Okay.
fiction and poetry, that sort of thing.
Okay. Cool. Is that something you pursue professionally or?
No, no, that's just something
Okay.
that I've just always enjoyed doing.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, I occasionally speak to bands, this being a metal podcast and all. I occasionally speak to bands who do like concept albums and stuff, and so I'm always curious about the writing aspect and how far people pursue that in terms of like if they write fiction on the side, if they write screenplays, things like that.
Gotcha.
Is that something you would want to pursue?
I don't think on a professional level, no. I think this is enough of an outlet for me for that. So,
Okay. So I want to backtrack a little bit. When we go back to how you formed and how you guys met. I'm old, and so when I think of like grind in New Orleans, I immediately think of Soylent Green.
yes.
Sick.
I don't know what the state of the scene is like now. When you guys play, who do you usually play with?
Well, like Brenner kind of touched on earlier, because New Orleans is so small, there is a great scene here, but it's really varied in this in like styles of metal and punk. So you pretty much play with everyone who's like heavy because there's not enough of like one particular style to really have like a bill of like just death metal bands or a bill of just grind bands or whatever. So we play with all kinds of different bands. And we're about to have our record release show that has like a hardcore punk band, a like doom gaze band, a death metal band, and then like a like beat down kind of hardcore band. So we play with all kinds of just heavy bands.
Okay. What would your ideal show be?
Hmm. Ideal show?
What do you mean as far as like what?
Who would you want to share a stage with?
Metallica. Yeah. Yeah, Metallica. Realistically, I mean, this may not also be realistic either, but love to play with Power Trip at some point.
Yep. Now that
That would be
they're doing
awesome.
stuff again, that
Yeah,
would be very
that's
cool.
exciting for us because we're big Power Trip fans.
Mammoth Grinder,
Yeah.
if they play shows again, like current active, like more active bands, really like Fugitive, really like 200 Stab Wounds,
Yeah, Singer
um,
Sugar Bog.
Singer Bog, yeah.
We've
All
played a show with
Higgins.
Scowl before. I'd love to play with them again, and with Zulu or Drain. We got a lot of bands we'd love to play with.
Yeah.
So, as you mentioned, at the time we're having this conversation, you'll be releasing your first full length called Social Grace through Prosthetic Records.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the writing up for this album. Did you want to do anything different from the EPs?
Yeah. Like I was saying before, it was just a little bit more collaborative. It wasn't just me pumping these things out. So we definitely achieved that. There was also the difference in that for the EPs, I had nothing but time to just hash all these demos out over the course of several months. But the album was entirely written once we started touring a whole lot. So we had to write and record songs in between tours. So we would write and record songs in batches of two or three songs at a time, and then go and tour again, and then repeat again when we got back. And we did that a few times, and eventually we had enough for an album.
And when was that? When were you finished with the writing part?
I think we had our last recording session in like, I don't know, April of last year, April or May.
Yeah, I want to say May of last year.
Yeah.
Gosh, I can't believe it's already been that long at this point.
Yeah,
Almost a year.
so we've been sitting on these songs for a while.
Yeah.
Where did you guys end up recording the album?
The same place we did the EPs at. It's a High Tower Studio in New Orleans. It's our good friend James Witten. He records Thou and I Hate God Now and Special Interest, another big punk band from here. But yeah, he's the guy here. He's awesome.
He's the guy that all the heavy bands in New Orleans record with?
Yeah, pretty much.
How do you describe his approach as an engineer?
He's super laid back. He's extremely professional in his way. He's been doing this for 25 years, and like he got his start like being an assistant recording like stuff for like Cash Money Records in the late 90s and stuff like that. And so he's been in it for a long time, but he's like super chill, easy to work with, but also just very competent and knows what he's doing. Can't say enough good things about him. He's just a pro.
Did James handle the mixing and mastering as well?
Yep, he did it all.
Cool. So when you say you recorded in batches, were you going into the studio and recording 2 and 3 at a time? Two or three songs at a time? Okay.
Yep, that's right.
Why record it like that? Why not wait until you had all the songs together?
Well, we were just so in and out of town with touring that like.
Okay, so it was the tour schedule that was.
Yes.
Okay, I gotcha.
And it was like we'd be home for, a month and a half or whatever, and then we'd be like, okay, we're gonna learn these 3 songs and get these 3 songs down super tight. Because the thing is, we also all still work full-time jobs. It's not like whenever we're home, we just have all the time in the world to like get these songs down super tight and just go straight into the studio and do them all. We're all, our schedules, we can only really practice once a week. So, we'd be home for a month and a half in between tours. And then we're like, okay, we got to get these 3 songs down. We have, 4 or 5 practices to get these songs down, and then we're going to go record them. And if we did that and just learned all these songs in between tours without recording them, by the time we got to the end of the album, we'd probably have forgotten how to play those first songs we learned that we wanted to record. So, because it'd be, several months later by that point.
Right. And so you wanted to record the songs while they're still fresh, while you had them down.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.